things.
Oh, are we doing it now? How long have you been working? Oh, look, I'm in your life.
Hey there, thanks for joining us. Here at the Teachers Video Company, we love making videos that are educational and fun.
We have a great time making these videos, and we hope you have a great time watching them.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So sweet. Yeah, so sweet. I mean, chickens. I mean, you can't. You just totally.
Wow! What's that?
I'm not a what? I'm a who.
So are you a sub or something?
Yes. In a manner of speaking, I'm Dr. Mainframe. And this is my assistant, Nerdy Ned. We'll be taking over today for Mr. Brady. On Mr. Brady's instructions, I believe we need to work on your research papers today.
Research? That takes so much time.
Time? This is a problem that we can solve. Let's see. Well, you can't change time. Not yet, anyway. So the answer is simple. Change the way you research. What is research anyway but a way to collect information?
Okay, I haven't picked a research topic yet, but when I do, where am I going to find all that information?
Oh, there are many places to find information. You should always go to the library and look in the encyclopedias, the card catalog, the periodicals. But you can also look on the internet and find out about a lot of excellent information to really help your research.
The internet is my friend. It can be yours, too.
Well, that all sounds great, but I don't know how to do research on the internet.
Me either. I tried to get some information on my topic off the internet, but none of it was very useful. There's just too much stuff.
Not useful.
Too much stuff. Sounds like we should spend this class talking about how to do research on the, how do you say...
Internet?
Thanks, nerd.
Ned.
That's what I said. You guys are in luck, because Nerd and I...
Ned.
That's what I said. Nerd and I are huge computer fans. I mean, we take them everywhere with us. They're like family. About this research paper and the internet, who can give me a sample topic?
How about zoo animals?
Zoo animals? Have I told you how much I like zoo animals? They're so much like computers.
Oh, here we go again.
The circle of life is much like the great circle of computers. Linked by the internet, and browsing the web is like a computer safari through the wilds of hyperspace, swinging from link to link in search of magnificent information.
Dr. Mainframe, let's just stick to the topic.
Okay, what was the question again?
I know, zoo animals.
Precisely. Zoo animals. Researching the topic of zoo animals. You know, that's a pretty broad topic. I guess your first step would be to,
Narrow it down. You can do that on the web.
Right, Ned. Let's say you got the idea for zoo animals from an advertisement for your local zoo in the newspaper. And further, let's imagine that at the bottom of the ad was the zoo's web address. Many organizations advertise their web addresses if they have a website. So, given all that, who knows what to do to access the zoo's site?
Type the zoo's address into the address box, right?
That's right. Brilliant. This is your address box. You need to type the address here. Addresses are also known as Uniform Resource Locators, or URLs.
the URLs, addresses are us.
Use us right, no need to fuss.
When you know addresses, you're free of messes.
A sound off.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The right address can open the door.
To data, facts, and people galore.
With URLs, we search no chore.
Sound off.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Uniform resource locators reported for duty, sir.
Your mission, Earl and Merle, is to explain to the students the parts and different kinds of addresses, or URLs, available on the internet.
Yes, sir. To begin with, there are 4 main parts of an address, or URL. The first part is an HTTP. That stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. But in most cases, you don't have to type that down in an address.
The second part is www, which, as you probably know, stands for the World Wide Web. Just as with the HTTP, you most often do not have to type in www either.
The next part, the middle part, which is the site name. In this case, your city zoo.
And finally, we have the kind of site, in this case, COM, which stands for Commercial Organization or Business.
Excellent! But please continue and explain what other sites can be found as well.
Yes, sir. Some of the most common sites, besides commercial organizations known as COM, are EDUs. EDUs stand for educational institutions, like a university or a college, maybe even a junior high or a kindergarten.
GOV is another one. A GOV is a government department or body. Then there's INT, or International Organization. MIL is a U.S. military site. NET is a networking organization. And finally, ORG is an organization, usually a nonprofit one.
Thank you, URLs. Your mission is complete.
Permission to speak, sir.
Go ahead, soldier.
Sir, web surfers will quickly identify other URLs that they should be familiar with.
Such as?
Some URLs end with country codes, like CA for Canada, or FR for France, or DK for Denmark, or even AU for Australia.
Yes, and some sites are graphics or photo images. You can tell them by the URLs as well. They end in PICT, GIF, or JPG.
There are WAVs, HTMLs, and MPEGs, and many, many more.
Yes, yes. Thank you both. I think we get the point. The web is a vast expanse, and the variety of URLs is virtually infinite. Perhaps it is enough to understand that the last part of the URL will always identify the kind of site and address it is. Understand? Great. Thank you both. At ease.
That was cool.
I'll say.
The next thing we need to do is narrow the topic.
What's the matter with using zoo animals as a topic? Mr. Mainframe? Dr. Mainframe? Hello?
Oh, right. Sorry, I was just trying to figure out where these bubbles are coming from. What was the question again?
What's wrong with using zoo animals as a topic?
Well, you see, with a topic that broad, you're going to have a very difficult time covering all of the important information. It would be very hard for you to decide what information to include in your paper and what to leave out.
Yeah, and chances are you'll miss a lot of important facts.
As you can all see, there are many hyperlinks on this page. Some link you to different types of animals. Some are links to pages about care of the animals. This one takes us to information on where the zoo gets its animals. And here's one to a page about what the animals eat.
So if we, clicked on one of those, we'd go to another page that was more detailed about the topic?
Yes. Say, you're really getting the hang of this. You know, if we click on the giraffe hyperlink, you can learn all about giraffes.
So, anyway, as you can all see, hyperlinks are a great way to get more detailed information and help you narrow down a broad topic, such as zoo animals, to something more specific like growth in giraffes.
Well, what if I don't have an address to look up? Let's say all I have is an idea.
Then you need to search. You do that by choosing a search engine.
Whoa, what's up with that?
Students, this is Search Engine Ed.
Search Engine Ed is here to explain to us what search engines are and how we can use them to find information on the internet.
Search engines are programs used to search for things on the web. They have collected web page information and indexed it to make it easy for you to find what you're looking for. To use them, all you need to do is click on your browser's search button.
What happens then?
Well, for example, if we wanted to look up information on zoo animals, all we need to do is type zoo animals in the search box.
That seems pretty easy.
It is. The only problem with that is if you do just type in zoo animals, your search engine will pull up every site with those two words in them. Therefore, you'll have a lot of junk to sort through, and that won't help you narrow your topic.
He's right. Think of the internet as the most enormous, most up-to-date, most mind-boggling, jam-packed reference encyclopedia the world has ever known. Just as with any reference book, you have to learn how to use the index to narrow your search. If you just start clicking through zoo animals, you may never get to what you're looking for. The information highway is long, my friends. You need a good map.
I think what Dr. Mainframe is trying to say is if you're getting too much information, you're not using Boolean logic properly.
Boolean logic was formulated by a 19th century mathematician by the name of George Boole. It's an algebraic system that deals with relationships between groups or sets. Boolean algebra has three basic ideas. The first, called cap, are elements that are in both groups. The second is called cup, which is the symbol for all elements of both groups. And finally, we have complement. This means all elements not in one of the groups.
Wait a minute. Caps, cups, complements. What does this have to do with the internet? Does this mean I have to be a mathematician to find stuff on the net?
No, no, no. That's the beauty of search engines. They're programmed to do the logic for you. All you need to do is ask the right way. Let me explain. Let's say you want information on the American Revolution, and you type in the word American and then the word revolution. Well, you're going to pull up all the sites that have the word American or the word revolution in them. There are probably several million sites that contain those words.
This is where Boolean logic comes in. You've got all the American sites in this group and all the revolution sites in this group. Together, this is the cup of American Revolution. But you want to get here, to the cap. So, what you need to do is add a plus sign.
A plus sign?
That's right. Using Boolean logic to narrow your search is as simple as plus and minus.
Minus?
Yes, if you want to eliminate a word from your search, all you need to do is use a minus sign. That's like making it a complement set.
I don't get it. If you don't want to search for something, why would you bother putting a minus sign? Wouldn't it make more sense if you just not put the word in at all?
Yeah, if you don't want to search for something, don't type it in. Simple.
Not so simple, I'm afraid. Here's another situation where not understanding Boolean logic can lead you astray. Imagine you are looking for information on Vikings. Remember, if you just put in Vikings, you'll get everything on the web with the word Vikings in it. You may find that your search keeps leading you to websites about a football team. A fine team, but perhaps not helpful in your search about Nordic warriors who once sailed the seas in search of new lands.
Good example. To narrow your search, type in Vikings minus the word Minnesota.
Well, aren't quotation marks the same thing as using a plus sign? Like if I were to do American Revolution in quotation marks, isn't that the same if I were to type American plus Revolution?
Not exactly, no. By putting quotation marks around the phrase or group of words, you're telling the search engine to pull up all the sites that contain the two words American Revolution together.
All right, I think I've got the logic. Plus signs mean search for one thing and the other. Minus signs mean search for one thing and not the other. And quotation marks mean search for the whole thing in your group or phrase.
Now you're thinking like a Boolean.
Watch out, everyone. Brian's gonna turn into a space mutant.
Maybe we should try a few searches. just to make sure that we all understand what makes search engines go.
Great idea. Let's surf the net.
Stop the train! Before they can try an internet search, I have a question for you. Have you been listening? In a few minutes, we're all gonna find out. Here we go. What is another name for a web address? Is it A, search engine, B, .com location, or C, uniform resource locator? Does anybody have an idea? Search engines are programs that allow you to search for things on the web by using keywords. So the answer is not A. Com stands for commercial or business website, so the answer is not B either. That leaves C. Another name for a web address is Uniform Resource Locator, or URL. Good job! I hope we didn't forget anything.
Surf's up, nerd.
Ned,
That's what I said. Ready to hit the waves?
let's do it, Doc.
All right. Okay, our first assignment is to look up something very specific.
Well, Mr. Brady's always asking us to do things like write about the symbolisms in poems and stuff.
Let's try to find the symbolism of the raven in Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. How would we search for that?
Well, a raven is a bird, so I would type in bird.
All right, Ned. Type in bird. How many matches come up with that search?
Oh, wow. Bird alone brings up 3,438,245.
Wow. Obviously, we need to be a bit more specific. What would you try next?
How about the author? Type in Poe.
That gets 46,997.
That's better, but we're not focusing here. We're looking for something more specific. The symbolism of the raven.
All right, so just type in Poe, raven, and then symbolism.
Oh, if I type in that, it gets 44,054,043. That's definitely not the way to go.
Let's use some Boolean logic at this time. Remember what we're looking for? Let's try combining some words.
How about using Poe plus raven plus symbolism?
Oh, that brings up only 5 matches.
Wow, we've gone from 44 million down to 5. That makes our research much easier. Okay, how would you search for the effects of pollution on Australia's Great Barrier Reef?
Put effects plus pollution plus Australia plus great plus barrier plus reef.
Too much. Don't throw every word in. Use logic. What has to be in there?
Australia?
All of Australia? It's a pretty big place.
Okay, no. Not all of Australia. Just the Great Barrier Reef.
And how would you tell the search engine you mean the Great Barrier Reef in Australia?
Oh, it's a group of words that I want together, so I'd put Great Barrier Reef in quotation marks, right?
Now you're getting it.
Oh, and you want pollution. Not like tourist information in hotels and stuff. So you add plus pollution.
Now you're talking. Great Barrier Reef in quotations plus pollution is really using Boolean logic to your advantage.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Now that I've pulled up all this information about the American Revolution, pollution, poetry, and the Great Barrier Reef, what do I do with all this stuff?
That's a good question. As we just saw, there is massive amounts of information on any given topic. The problem here is the source of the information. You see, there's no organization in charge of the internet. Therefore, anyone can create a site and claim the information on it is valid.
A lot of it's not valid, though. Remember, anyone can create a website, and it's not unusual to find completely bogus information on the net. Remember, a good rule of thumb is to consider everything that you find on the internet inaccurate until it's proven accurate.
So, is there any way that you can be sure that you have factual information?
Well, if you need true factual information, as you would for a research paper, there's a few things you need to do. First thing to do is to check your sources. If you're on a page created by a reputable institution, such as NASA, Smithsonian Museum, or National Geographic, you can be pretty certain you're okay.
Another way is to check your URL for sites that are created by universities or colleges. Remember, those sites end with EDU, standing for education.
EDU sites are often created by academics and contain what is called refereed information. No, not that kind of referee. Refereed information simply means that a board of experts has reviewed the articles and finds them publishable, which usually means they're factual. And that's exactly the kind of information we are looking for.
But remember, just because it's an EDU site doesn't automatically make it factual. You see, some EDU sites feature student work that hasn't been refereed. Always double-check your information by going to more than one site.
And then go back to the library. Remember, the internet is new and exciting, and it is a great place to search for information, but it's not yet ready to replace the library. Most of your best references can still be found on your library shelf.
Very true, Dr. Mainframe. But there are some things that the net can provide that the library can't, like direct connections to experts all over the world via email.
Also, internet chat rooms can be excellent places to pose research questions and brainstorm ideas.
Just remember to be safe. Never give out private information over the net. Use your first name only or a web name. And never give out your address, phone number, social security number, or credit card information to anyone.
And as long as you're careful, you'll find a world of up-to-date information on current issues by visiting sites belonging to major newspapers and national magazines. Most newspapers post their news daily, and magazines offer reliable information as well.
Another excellent source, especially for historical information, is the Library of Congress, which includes the National Archives. This place is like a gold mine when it comes to historical researching.
And when in doubt, always double-check the information, and always use the logic. Uh-oh. Looks like the Internet Express is about to depart. I must say goodbye. Goodbye.
Listen, I'm pretty sure that even though you're not getting your information for your research out of a book, you still can't just copy it. That's plagiarism.
Plagiarism is bad. Very, very bad.
Tell me, what is plagiarism?
Plagiarism is when you take something someone else has created and claim it as your own. You can get in a lot of trouble for it. Remember, no matter where you get your information for any kind of paper, don't plagiarize.
Yeah, always restate the information in your own words, or you can use quotation marks to make sure that they know that it's somebody else's words. And always cite your sources.
How do you cite information off the internet?
How do you cite information off the internet? Let me see. How should I explain this? What's that? Huh? What a wonderful idea! How do I come up with this stuff?
Hi, y'all, I'm Cindy Citation. I like to quote the entire nation. Citing references is my game. I always give the author's last name and dates. Titles, yes, of course. Whatever you do, just cite the source. If you don't do that, you'll have remorse. So be ethical. And by the rules abide or you'll be walking on my bad side. So be ethical. And by the rules abide or you'll be walking on my bad side. Do what I say, I'm telling you. Always give credit where it's due. Do what I say, listen up, guys. Make sure you don't plagiarize. Do what I say, I'm telling you. Always give credit where it's due. Do what I say, listen up, guys. Make sure you don't plagiarize.
Cool, Cindy. But isn't there a special order or something we're supposed to use to cite our sources?
Actually, no, not exactly, not yet.
Huh? I don't get it. Aren't there always rules for this stuff?
Well, you see, this is all so new that they haven't made a standardized method for citing information from the internet.
Cool. Then we can just make it up then.
No, no, no. You still need to cite the sources for your information from the internet.
But how?
Well, I would suggest the following. First, provide the author, the date written, if provided, and the title of the source. Be sure to underline or put the title in quotations, whichever is appropriate. Second, state the date the source was issued on the net, or if that's not available, state the date you did your search. Third, tell where the information is available and its retrieval location. This means give the name of the site and its address. Finally, explain the method you used for finding the material. This simply means state that you found this information online.
That sounds pretty easy.
Yeah, but why exactly do we need all this information?
So the people who are going to be reading your paper, like your teachers, can go to the same site and find out exactly where you got your information from. Sort of like going to the barn to find your horse. You want to know exactly where it is.
It also gives the person who wrote it full credit and lets people know where to look if they want to find more information on your topic.
Let's try it. Let's say we are using an article on the growth of giraffes, written by Harold P. Gruber on March 2nd, 1999, and issued on March 15th, 1999. If we were citing the information correctly, for the rules of citing the information from the internet, the citation would look like this. First is the author's name, last name first. Next is the date the article was written. The title is next, in quotations, because it's a short article. Then the issue date is given, followed by the name and address of the site. Lastly, we state that this was found online.
Does everyone understand?
See y'all on the Wild Wild Web.
Excellent! Now, at this point, you should all feel comfortable going to the internet to find sources you can use for your research papers. How about a quick review? What's the first thing the internet can help you do for your research paper?
It can help you pick or narrow down a topic. If you search and use hyperlinks, you should be able to find something specific that interests you.
Good. Now, we all know that the internet can be very helpful, but how can it hurt us when we use information that we find there?
Well, we could get some information that somebody made up, and we believe it's true, and then use it?
That's right. We want to always be careful about the information that we get off the internet. Go to well-known sites or verify the information from well-known sources. Now, what's the one thing we must never do in any research?
Plagiarize.
Yeah, and always cite your sources.
You guys are too good. Wow, look at that. It's almost time to go. Time sure does fly when you're working on the internet. Speaking of the internet, have I told you guys how exciting the internet is? Or, you know, how much I like the...
Dr. Mainframe, if my calculations are correct, and they're always correct, we should be going in 3, 2, 1.
I am so sorry. I can't apologize enough. Oh my, look at the time. I'm so sorry I'm late. I practically missed the whole class, haven't I? Well, I was walking down the hall and 1 minute, and then the next thing you know, I really can't quite remember. Maybe I should see a doctor about that. Anyway, class, tomorrow we'll be, tomorrow we'll be spending some time looking at new ways to approach writing your research papers.
You mean like use the internet for research?
Exactly.
To surf the net?
Don't forget those accessing URLs.
Or using Boolean logic to narrow your searches.
Always cite your sources and never, ever
Plagiarize.
Good luck with your research.
And remember, surf's always up on the net.
They're like, family.
Ned.
We hope you enjoyed making this video as much as we did. These instructions, it looks as if this speak like what to speak! I don't know.
So, I forgot my line.
High five.
We hope you enjoyed the video.
As much as we enjoyed making it.
Hope to see you again real soon.
Bye.
For more excellent videos, check your teacher's video company catalog or call us toll-free for a new catalog at 1-800-262-8837.